You said that DC fans should not take opening day for granted. Why?
Well, because, and, I wrote about baseball in Washington 10 years before it even got here.
Right.
And so I know the struggle that went on. And, this struggle, can start in 1971 when the Senators left. And you had different politicians, different businessmen, different fans, like a generation went through, but they never gave up that fight. It might have been different people. It might have been different fights, but they never gave it up. I don't think there's a city in America that had that much of a span in between losing a team and getting one back than Washington did.
Is that right?
And when you think about it, there was one perfectly acceptable right up the road. They were winning World Series,
Yeah.
I mean, the Orioles. But while there were a lot of Orioles fans around here, it never quite filled the void.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, people still insisted we needed a team in Washington.
Do you feel like Washingtonians are taking the team for granted?
No, I just a little reminder. I mean, opening day is special, and in a city that didn't have it for 33 years, it should always be special.
Is it becoming a better baseball town, do you think, over the last few years?
That's a good question.
Well, I think it is, but the real test would be if they go in the tank like the Phillies and the Braves did the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think they took a step in the right direction to avoid that
with
today
Rizzo, yeah.
with Mike Rizzo.
Yeah, great step. Here's my contention. I don't know if you would agree. I think that the fan base would fall apart to an extent, and it's largely just it's an indictment of the city. I think we're fair weather fans. We're front runners. We love a winner. I think more so than other towns.
Yeah, I think that's it. And part of it is I think the organization on the business side failed to make the moves to grow the fan base in the early days. Look, Stan Kasten once told me before he left, he said, nobody plans on losing 100 games when you open a stadium. That was a bad way to start off the franchise. And the winning has solved that.
Right.
And I think they made some mistakes early on, and that would have covered them when things go bad again, if things ever do go bad again.
They also have star power. You got star power here with the pitchers, with Bryce Harper. So you would wonder what would happen if you don't have those stars and you start losing. My guess is, obviously, you'd have a lot less fans.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, you would, but how many less?
But let me tell you, I was born in Illinois, and my uncle still lives there in Wrigley Field, devotee. I mean, when they struggled, they still went to games.
True.
They were still a tough ticket to get. They were just lovable, and the town that obviously just had embraced
But it's just
them.
hard to stay good for a lot of years in a row.
Yeah.
Right? It's an indictment on Rizzo and what he's put together. It's hard to do it. I mean, you've seen other teams go through struggles. I mean, the Phillies are going through it now. Right. Red Sox went through. I mean, it's hard to stay on top for a long time.
Yeah, especially in this age of free agency.
Right. Yes.
To keep the machine going. Rizzo has a board that has a team on the field 3 or 4 years from now.
Right.
I mean, that's the way he's planning. Now, unfortunately, the Lerners don't seem to plan that far ahead because they only gave him
2 years. Right.
2 years, which is an engagement. It's not a marriage.
Well, in 2020,
Well, hold on. He's still got
they'll
18, 19, 20. He's still got 3 seasons.
I know that, but it's a 2-year extension.
Right, okay.
I mean, great. General managers like Mike Rizzo get 5-year deals.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
certainly
glad that
deserves
they did it now
Right.
and didn't let it go on into the season because that would have been very uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's a great day to do it on the opening day here in Washington.
Well,
Right.
in 2020, if they win a couple more divisions, they'll get another 2-year extension to 22.
Just keep getting 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all right. I think he's doing okay.
So what are
Exactly.
your thoughts here? It's early, obviously, only 6 games in. A couple tough ones down in Atlanta. A.J. Cole was not good, and then Max was okay. Defense wasn't very good. They couldn't hit. But what are your overall, thoughts after 6 games here?
Well, I mean, I think it would be malpractice if this team doesn't win 90-plus games this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just have too much talent. I mean, this team is more talented, particularly in the lineup, than last year because of Adam Eaton at the top. He's going to be a big addition to this offense. And you've got Bryce clearly healthy and clearly in a contract year.
Locked in early.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think that you can pencil these guys in no matter what we see here in the middle of early in the season for 95 wins. That doesn't necessarily mean what we see going into the postseason will be the same team. I think, everyone's going to be curious if these guys will make a move in the middle of the season for another pitcher because they really didn't get, everyone projected that, and me included, they get Jake Arrieta in this offseason, and they didn't do that. and there is still a feeling that they could use a third pitcher for the postseason,
Right.
other than their current lineup.
Let's see how Roark pitches. I mean, he was really good in his first start.
Yeah.
But he
I
could
think
be
you know what you're going to get with Tanner Roark. I think you're going to get a bulldog.
Yeah.
But they haven't really used him. The crunch time.
Well, the
playoff
question
time.
mark has been Gio. I mean, Gio was strong in the regular season, but in the postseason, that has been the biggest question mark.
Yeah.
As how solid he can be, and he hadn't been great.